We know that creating content is important for you to be able to grow your brand and your business. But we also know that creating content can really be a time-consuming process. That's why you need to have an Instagram content management system in order to manage the creating, the scheduling, and the publishing of your content. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 of my Instagram management tips, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough of my Notion workspace for my Instagram content. My name is Ademusoyo, and if you're new to my channel, I help content creators and entrepreneurs create content that is meaningful and engaging, that aligns to their brand needs and values. The secret to creating content as an entrepreneur or a content creator is being organized. That's why you need to have a way or a system in place in order to properly manage and keep track of the content as it goes from being an idea to actually getting published and repurposed on other platforms. When you have a content management system in place, you're allowing yourself to free up so much more of your time because you don't have to go rummaging through all of these different files on your computer or in your Google Drive. It's all in one specific place, and you're also able to see what needs to get done, what is going out, and how you expect things to flow accordingly. If you have a good content system in place, it also frees up more of your time for you to look at other areas of growing or strengthening your business so that you can kind of take away from that focus and put it somewhere else that needs more of your attention. Because I feel like a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're constantly running from this thing and this thing and this thing, and especially when you're working on by yourself. But having good systems, especially when you're just starting out in the beginning, when it comes to your content, is gonna make you be able to save time. When it comes to creating content on Instagram, I would say that it's one of the trickiest places to get started as a content creator, because unlike other platforms like Twitter or TikTok that have one mode of content that can get produced, with Instagram, you have so many different types of content formats that you can choose from, and it can be hard to know which one you should prioritize more versus the other one. If you're looking to grow your brand and really take it to the next level, it's really important that you play around and experiment with different types of content so you can start to see what your audience likes, as well as start to see what are the different formats that are easier for you to create, and also how is it that your audience is understanding the information that you're trying to portray through your content. Here are some of the Instagram content types that you can create right now. The photos could be any of your high quality photos relating to your brand that really shows more of who you are and your best foot forward, and can really help you attract more followers. Instagram stories are also a really great format type because you can give your audience a little bit of the behind the scenes action from more of your curated feed. It's kind of the way of letting your audience know that you're still human and that there's someone behind the account, because you're taking them through some of what's going on behind the scenes. Some of the things that won't make it to your feed are really great things to publish on your Instagram stories, and so that you can start to kind of build a better rapport with your audience. Reels are one of the more newer features on Instagram, and they're short vertical clips up to 90 seconds long where you can entertain or educate your audience on something particular to your niche. It has been shown on Instagram that Reels is definitely the content type that the Instagram algorithm is wanting to see. So it's definitely in your best interest to post as many Reels as you can, but also don't stay away from the stories or the in-feed photos, because that's still gonna help garner engagement and really help you build your audience as well. Last content type that I wanna mention, which is probably my favorite content type, are carousels. So carousels are anywhere from 2 to 10 slides of information where you can have different infographics, you can just use it to tell a story. They tend to be the more shareable types of content, and you can make them really informative and really engaging and use that as a content type to start to build authority. When you experiment and mix with all of the other different types of content types, all of that together is really gonna be what helps build your audience and really take your brand to the next level. When you first get started on Instagram trying to grow your brand, it can be tough to know exactly where to get started. Here are some of my beginner tips to help you get started and make the most of growing your brand on Instagram. My first tip is planning your content in advance. Having a content calendar where you can kind of map out what your content pillars are, the type of content that you want to create for that particular idea that you have, and as well as the day that you want it to be scheduled. And being able to do that in advance is going to make the content creation process on Instagram so much more smoother. You really want to be able to eliminate the decision fatigue that comes with what should I post, when should I post it, how should I post it, by just creating your own schedule, creating your own plan, and making sure that you're sticking to that plan will allow you to get things done so much quicker and so much smoother. Next tip that I have is using automation tools. So using scheduling platforms like Later or Planoly, or even the Creative Suite that Meta offers, is going to be really helpful to make sure that you're not always having to manually post everything, and that sometimes it can just auto-publish for you. So if you're busy or you just don't have time to post at the exact moment that you have scheduled, you already have something that's working in the automation. Instagram isn't a place to just publish and go. You need to make sure that you're engaging with your audience. By engaging with your audience, you're getting a good pulse on whether or not your audience is really feeling the type of content that you're trying to create, or also maybe you'll even get more content ideas through the engagement. So make sure that you're commenting on people's posts, you're responding to comments on your post, and you're just allowing the conversations to flow, because it is a social media platform, which means that you need to be actually social on that platform. Lastly, and this is probably one of the more important tips that I have for you, is you want to track your analytics. You want to be able to see how your content is performing and trending over time. You also want to be able to know what you can repurpose for later, what ideas you feel like need to be revisited so that people can understand what it is that you're trying to say, what it is that you're trying to do. Being able to track your analytics also allows you to see if you're getting better with the content creation as well. You know, when you start, you might start doing things one way, but as you continue to grow and advance with your content, you're gonna start getting better, and you'll be able to kind of have those like quantitative numerical measurements and make sure that any decisions that you want to make towards your content is backed by what you think that your audience wants to hear about. I want to take you through my Instagram content planning hub. So the first thing that you'll see here is you have the full calendar view, so you can see all of the content that has been planned and scheduled, or the status of all of the different types of content. I will go into these other sections later, but I wanted to scroll down and talk about the more planning aspect of things. So this is kind of where I have everything organized by status, by content pillar, and the content that I'm working through. And so that's just really dependent on what type of view that I want to have for the content in order to be able to plan or generate new ideas. I have these different content themes that I use to experiment with. So right now I'm really playing around with doing like vlog or like day in the life type reels, and then doing like a trendy audio and like a book review. So I want to make sure that for each week of my content, I have that factored into it. Then once my content gets like published and everything, I actually come here to the review analytics tab, and that's where I go in and just keep track of how many like followers I have, the reach that it got, likes, comments, shares, and saves, and I just manually enter it, and then it calculates the engagement rate based off of how many likes, comments, and shares and saves I have, based on how many followers that I have. And then I have this master list that this is where everything sort of populates, where I can see which content has performed the best, when it performed the best, and just to give me like a good idea of if I want to repurpose maybe like a caption from this post, or just repurpose the content and make it into a reel or anything like that. I can just have that here and sort of see. So for me, this tells me that people like seeing, you know, pictures of my face more, and having this there visually lets me know like what is the type of content that my audience really enjoys to hear. And then I also have it grouped by month, so you can see October right now. I don't have all of the images for them, unfortunately, but you can just see here like how all of the content is ranking in terms of engagement overall. When you're looking at each of the different cards of content, I have little checklists depending on what type of content that I am posting, and then I have it relating to a particular project. In that project, that's where I kind of keep track of all of the things that I need to do. So you can see here that I've already like scheduled it, I've written the caption, I've created the reel cover, created the reel, and founded the audio. So that's just an example of, the type of content that I generate, or kind of how I keep track of where the content is going. Following these content management tips, as well as being consistent with creating Instagram content, you're definitely going to watch your brand grow, and you're going to watch your Instagram account take off. Don't be afraid to experiment and figure out what scheduling or types of content really work for you. When you like the content that you're creating, your audience is gonna like it too. If you would like to get a head start on organizing your content in a really clear and meaningful way, grab my Instagram planning template in the description box, and I'm sure it'll help you with all of your planning needs. Thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out this video right here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.